This is Below, developed and published by Capybara Games. This footage was captured on a PS4 Pro. So Below has been on the channel before, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but for a quick refresher, it's a kind of roguelike game where you are playing this like really tiny character in this sort of kind of tilt-shift world and exploring it around, and it's really fucking hard, and I didn't really like it the first time I looked at it. But it's been released on PS4 now, and with it has been like a survivalist mode and like an explorer's mode, which are basically, was the game not hard enough? Okay, now we've made it harder. Or was the game too hard? Okay, we've made it a little bit easier for you. Cool. So I was a little bit more interested, sure, why not, in the explorer's mode. So I wanted to give it a bit more of a spin, because I did like enjoy a little bit of what I played, but I just felt it was just too fucking punishing, and I just wasn't up for it. So I've given it a bit more of a try, and I can, firmly confirm I'm amazing at English today. I don't like Below. I just don't like it. Even with the kind of simplified, not simplified really, it's just simpler. It's just enemies just don't hit you so it's fucking hard. The game isn't as punishing for your mistakes, even if they're not actually mistakes. It's just bullshit. It's come across as me being salty, sure, fine. I don't like roguelike games, and that's just the end of it. Dark Souls, Bloodborne's, those kinds are the only ones that I'll put up with, and that's because they're not really roguelikes, because you don't fucking lose everything when you die. Anyway, Below is on PS4 now. It was previously on Windows, Xbox One. You can go back to previous video, I think it was December 2018, maybe? I should probably look that up beforehand. Oh well, anyway. This is how much I care about the game, I suppose. I really did want to like it, because I really like its graphical style. I like the just tiny dude in a big world, just going about his business. And it's really mysterious, and I would like to get to the bottom of the mystery and, solve all the puzzles and see what's going on. I do like to explore it, but when you die, you lose everything and you go back to the start. So, no. I don't have the time for that. So that's just me. Anyway, check it out if you like. This is Resident Evil 3 Remake, developed and published by Capcom. Footage collected on a PS4 Pro. Okay, so following the trend for Capcom, they remade Resident Evil 2 last year, and they've gone ahead and made Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. And it's really good. Like everything I could say about the Resident Evil 2 remake applies to the Resident Evil 3 remake. It's great to see the 2D assets that I remember from Resident Evil 3 Nemesis just redone in like the new RE engine with the kind of gameplay from RE2, or E2 remake rather, like the over-the-shoulder style, the kind of slow-paced puzzling, but really solid gun control. And the added emphasis here, of course, was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was Nemesis, who is, if you're not familiar, who is a big monster tyrant-y type thing who stalks you for the whole game. So not unlike Mr. X from the Resident Evil 2 remake, although Mr. X was kind of, in the original Resident Evil 2, Mr. X was only available in the second scenario of the game, which means it's entirely possible to miss him if you never played it. Whereas in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is like front and center of the game. He is stalking you constantly in the original. He'd show up in different places, he'd just get in the way, kick your ass, probably kill you most of the time. And it's not entirely dissimilar this time. He shows up in typical fashion in survival horror games when you complete something. or the world state changes, you can be pretty sure that Nemesis will show up at some point and just kick your ass. Whether that's like literally, like, you know, kicking you or punching you or throwing you through walls or throwing you back into fire, or like trying to light you up with a flamethrower or try to shoot you with a rocket launcher. There's all sorts of shit that he pulls on you, and he is considerably more nimble than Mr. X. Like, he will do full-on sprint, he will run past you, he will jump over shit. He is single-minded in kicking your ass, and he's great. He's super annoying to fight, but he's great. I really like him. The kind of, not exactly tanky controls, but still sort of tanky controls that they try to keep for Resident Evil 2 Remake. And for all of the kind of over-the-shoulder Resident Evils, they all still have a bit of tankiness in that your character isn't super nimble. Which they tried to change in the Resident Evil Revelations 2, where they gave you a kind of dodge. Resident Evil 6, they let you just throw yourself on the ground to get away from people, that kind of thing. The original Resident Evil 3 had an active dodge, so if an enemy was going to attack you, you could press X at the right moment and Jill would sidestep out of the way. That's back now, but it's a lot more active. You're not waiting on the enemy to attack you necessarily. You can proactively try to step out of the way and step out of reach, but if you do wait for the opportune time, you'll get a much better kind of quick roll that kind of gives you a bit of a slow down adrenaline thing, which is a bit weird, to be perfectly honest, but it's useful when Nemesis is about to like just smack you right across the face, and you can do a nice quick tumble underneath it and you'd be like, haha, and then he turns around and kicks you in the face anyway, and you're like, ah, shit. Anyway, I really like Resident Evil 3 Remake. I really liked Resident Evil 2 Remake. There is like a bit of concern and a bit of conjecture around the internet that Remake is quite a bit shorter than Resident Evil 2 Remake. One thing to keep in mind is it's one character, it's only Jill. The other thing to keep in mind is RE3 Nemesis was shorter than RE2 anyway, mostly because it was never meant to be a main. This is some weird lore for Resident Evil, but it was never meant to be the main entry. It was meant to be a side game, and Code Veronica was meant to be the main entry. It was meant to be Resident Evil 3, but they changed it at the last minute for some reason, and then Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, or Resident Evil Nemesis, became Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and then Resident Evil 3 became Resident Evil Code Veronica. So it's a bit weird, but it was never really meant to be a full-fledged game. So they have been true to the original. It wasn't a long game anyway. But even saying that, Resident Evil games in general, at least the original ones, weren't long. You know, they didn't start getting long until Resident Evil 4 and Code Veronica in some senses, I suppose. But if you know what you're doing, you can blast through the original games very, very fast. Like, there's even trophies for doing it in under 2 hours and shit like that. So all I'm saying is it short? Sure. But it is anyway. The original was, and the game sort of is expecting that you'll replay it, because there's shit you're gonna miss. Dealing with Nemesis, you're gonna mess it up the first time through, but you know, you'll get better the second time, you'll see more stuff. Like, there's plenty of stuff I've missed already just playing it, because I know I've taken down Nemesis, and then I ran off to just get as far away from him as I could, but it turned out, oh, he dropped stuff, just like in the original. I was like, oh yeah, I knew he'd do that, I should have gone back to get it, and now I can't get it now. So the next time around, I can do that. Anyway, I'm really, really enjoying RE3 Remake as much as I enjoyed RE2 Remake, so I'm super happy with the game. If you want to check it out, it is available on pretty much all the big guys. Yeah, it's available on PS4, Xbox One, and Windows PC. Definitely check it out. Back into the frying pan. Oh, good job, idiot. Go on, do it again. Get down to the basement. Oh, shit. That was an interesting move he had there. You dumbass. This is Guard Duty, developed by Sick Chicken Studios and published by Digital Tribe. This footage was recorded on a PS4 Pro. So Guard Duty is a kind of throwback to the old style of point-and-click adventure games that you really don't see anymore. So like the very old Monkey Islands and Broken Sword and things like that, the Sierra point-and-click type games as well. You play as Tombert, something like that. I'm not entirely sure how his name's supposed to be pronounced. But anyway, who is a guard, does guard duty, who gets a bit drunk on his birthday while still manning his post and lets somebody into the city who he probably should not have let into the city, and that person ends up kidnapping the princess and is off to do nefarious things with said princess. So the game revolves around Tonbert trying to basically make right what he did wrong. So although the game does open with you losing all of your clothes and being locked out of the castle, so there's a bit of a comedy bent to it. It doesn't take itself too seriously, not in the opening anyway. There's a lot of kind of linear thinking going on with the puzzles, things like that. Like there's a bit where somebody will only give you back your pants if you kiss her, but Tomber doesn't want to kiss her because he doesn't find her attractive, so he has to go and catch a frog and then bring the frog down to the person and have them kiss the frog instead. That's like kind of stupid shit like that, and then figuring out how to actually catch the frog and all that stuff for your puzzles. As I said, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It does skew a bit darker as the game goes on. The plot of sacrificing the princess and things like that, and the effect it has on the land should it happen. You get some premonitions of the future, and you get some horrible monsters and people dying in horrible ways. So it's a bit strange. It's a bit of a strange juxtaposition of really funny comedy, slapstick comedy, and then oppressively grim surroundings later on in the game. I enjoyed a lot of what I played of it. Some of the puzzles were a bit too, what would you call them? They're a bit brute forcey. Now that I've solved it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that was the solution. But a lot of the ways coming upon the solution for a puzzle feels like trial and error, and like you just brute forced your way through it and you didn't actually solve the puzzle, You just tried as many combinations as you could think of and it just worked. So it does still have a bit of that to it. But there's not too much for me to detract from the game. It's, it does what it sets out to do. It's a point-and-click adventure, aping the styles of the old style of point-and-click adventures, and it pulls that off. There's good comedy, there's good situations, the puzzles are funny. Even when you fail at the puzzles, they're still funny. Possibly the weird kind of grim dark thing it goes down at the very end is a bit over the top, but otherwise I really enjoyed Guard Duty. It's been on PC since last year, I think, so it has a console release in April. Anyway, it's a budget title, it's not a full price title, it's like a tenner, so you can catch it on PS4, and I believe it's on Xbox as well. It's on Switch, and it's, as I said, it's been on PC and Mac since last year. Anyway, check it out if you like those kind of games.
Ready?
Okay, Fool's Gold, Act 4, and... Diebold! Start the bleeding camera! Action!
This is Deliver Us the Moon, developed by Kyoken Interactive and published by Wired Productions. So Deliver Us the Moon is a first-person spooky shit in space genre. That's what I'm going to call it. It's set in the far future, well, not too far in the future, I suppose, but Earth has become dependent on resources and energy found on the moon. But at some point, a few years ago, the moon went dark and energy stopped being transmitted, resources stopped being transmitted, and the Earth has eventually kind of dried up, depleted itself. So they've managed to send one astronaut back to the moon to figure out, hey, where's all our stuff? What happened to the stuff? Give it back. And that's kind of the game. You are the single astronaut they sent. Why they couldn't send a second astronaut, I don't know. There was space in the shuttle for a second astronaut, but whatever. It's not important. It's kind of just your job to figure out what happened. And also, if you could maybe turn the power back on and, send it back down to us, that would be good. That'd be good too. Cheers. So it follows the same kind of pattern as games like Soma, like Tacoma, like Gone Home, like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, that kind of thing. It's a walkie round, interact with things. People talk to you. You read video log. You don't read video logs. You watch video logs. You listen to audio logs. You read text logs, I guess. And you slowly piece the story together while also doing whatever the overarching plot is. You know this kind of game. I've featured them, plenty of them on the channel because I really like them. I like a good story and I like some puzzles, and this has them for me. It also looks really nice, and it's in space, and I love space. I love spooky shit in space. Although Deliver Us the Moon kind of presents itself as a bit of a spooky game, but it's not really. At least it's not a straight up horror game like something like Moons of Madness was, or Soma. You know, you don't have the run from monsters thing. It's not in this game. The environment itself might try to kill you, but there's no, is it spoilers to say there's no rambling monster, because it's never presented that there is one. It's just something happened. So I do really like it. I like the puzzles. I like exploring, and I like just learning a bit more about the world they built, because I actually enjoyed the world building that went on for the game, and it's somewhat disappointing that a lot of the plot threads don't go anywhere. You kind of get to the end of the game and you realize, hey, we never went to that place, and hey, what happened to that person, and you know, and like I found all of the collectibles or whatever. It's like I should know what happened to them, and I don't, which is really annoying. So I do feel like if the game's setting up for something else cool, I feel like it isn't. So that's why I'm a little disappointed by it. But I did enjoy what I played of it. I will probably check it out again on the channel. If you are interested in gameplay or a bit more of an extended look, I did put up a video playing for a bit of the opening for Deliver Us the Moon. You can check it out. It's on the channel somewhere. You can check it out there. Deliver Us the Moon originally came out in September 2018 for PC and Xbox One. It was an ID at Xbox game and is now on PS4, Switch, and also Windows PC, Xbox, Linux, Mac. It's on practically everything at this point anyway. Check it out if you're interested in the spooky shit in space genre. I might have screwed myself on that one. Oh, there's one right there. Can I make it? Can I make it? Oh, I'm not gonna fucking make it. Oh, no. Ah, fuck you, I was right there!
More survivors. We've got to get that train moving.
Those were some of the games I played for April 2020. Resident Evil 3 Remake was probably my favorite for this month, because it reminds me so much of, one, the original, which I really liked, and it reminds me of the Resident Evil 2 Remake, which I also really, really liked. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to not like about it. I mean, I would have preferred if it was longer, sure, but I could say that about practically every game I've ever liked. So, you know, I'm happy with what we have. Elsewhere, Deliver Us the Moon was really fun. I really liked the world building. I liked just walking around in it and just seeing all the different tech, seeing all the different ideas for what the future could hold. It's pretty grim, but that's okay. Kind of disappointed that the story the main plot of the story is resolved, but the side stories, some interesting stuff that they had in the world building just kind of doesn't go anywhere, which is a bit disappointing. Guard Duty was really fun throwback. I really liked the old Sierra point and clicks and Monkey Island, that kind of thing. So it was good to play another one with a bit more of the nostalgia lens on it. The weird swing to grimdark at the end is a bit jarring. Don't know what I think about that. And Below just kind of confirmed that I don't like roguelikes, particularly the really, really punishing roguelikes. So yeah, at least I know that now. I just avoid those games from now on, because I can pretty much say I just don't like them. Coming up next month, Final Fantasy VII Remake is still there. It's still in the backlog. I'm just not up to playing it at the moment. I really want to sit down and enjoy it, and just I'm not gonna. You guys know you're living through the lockdown and that kind of thing, personal issues and so on. It's just really draining, and I don't want that to taint the game. So yeah. I know it's a bit strange thing to say. That's something I know I would really, really enjoy. Could probably use right now. I just don't want it tainted. So yeah, I don't know. Brain gremlins are a bit strange sometimes. So probably still going to put that off till a bit later. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at a couple of different games. We're going to be looking at Streets of Rage 4, which is a long time coming, which if you're not familiar with the Streets of Rage series, it's basically you beat up a lot of guys on the street of Rage, as you might imagine. It's like a very old school arcade brawler type thing, and this is like a modern incarnation of it, which I'm really interested in playing. We're also going to look at Telling Lies, which has been out on PC for a while. This is a kind of full motion video piecing together puzzles. You're given like video snippets of people across a 2-year span, and you just sort of figure out what happened to them and who's telling lies, as you might imagine. Also, we'll be looking at Ion Fury, which again is another throwback to the old first-person shooters like Duke Nukem, but also like Quake, Doom, those kind of things. So really interested to play that. I've heard some really good things about it. And if we have time, we'll have a look at the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which is a giant JRPG, which is why I said if we have time, because it will take a long time to play it and to get some details about it. But I've heard a lot of good things about the original Xenoblade Chronicles. I never got to play it because it was a Wii title, and I just had no interest in ever owning a Wii, so there's that. But I've always heard that it was a very good game, so I'm excited to play that. Otherwise, there's some other videos up on the channel. Like I said, I've done some 4-a-bit videos of Deliver Us the Moon and Resident Evil 3 Remake. You can check some of those out. I'll be hopefully getting back to more regular videos and more regular like LPs and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, this is the one time where I've actually had the time to do it, and now I just don't have the energy to do it because of fucking, you know, stress shit and all that. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Sorry it is so late. You know, I'm nearly a month behind. I'm hoping to try to catch up on it, but I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? It's not like anybody watches these anyway. Okay. Let me know what you think anyway, and I'll see you guys next time.